Hello everyone, my name is Ballistic, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm making a video that I wish had been made when I first started playing Apex, because the game could be overwhelming, and especially for newer players. And I think a game that has grown and already the average level is a little bit high needs these kinds of videos, these kinds of guides for newer players to get into it and to feel welcome. Today we're going to talk about basic fighting, tips and tricks, things that you need to know, and all of these menus and what they mean, and where you should start as a beginner. So grab a cup of coffee and enjoy. Okay, so we're in game and there's a lot of menus and a lot of things that are popping up. But first, when you're starting, the most important thing that you need to check out is the Legend Locker, where you're not going to have all of them unlocked. And I don't know why this is still the case. You unlock legends by collecting these red fragments or whatever they are. And I think you have the original legends, which are probably 3 or 4. Anyways, I don't know why Apex still does this. I think all the legends should be unlocked on level 10. They're doing it because of early player retention. There's a lot better things that they could be doing for that, but that's a discussion for another video. So with the limited roster that you have, what I would advise you to do at first is to check them out in the firing range. Now, how to get into the firing range? You go here and there's a firing range. There's a lot of modes, we're going to discuss them later, but yes, you're going to the firing range, you load up a game and you test each legend, their abilities, you sort of feel their gameplay. Respawn has done an amazing job with the firing range. You have all the weapons, you have moving targets, you can customize the range if you want them to not move, if you want them to be more of a dynamic movers, you know, from them to crouch and run and so on. So there's a lot here that allows you to experiment and enjoy the gunplay, to learn about the gunplay. The game basically gives you all the things that you need to have in order to learn the mechanics of the game, the movement. And the movement is one of the most important things in Apex, because it's unlike any other game that you've played, especially if you've played slower paced FPS shooters like Counter-Strike or Valorant. You're going to need some time to get used to the fast pace of Apex. At some point, when you get the hang of it, you're going to absolutely love. It's not like PUBG, where you hide and you're being more tactical. Here you have a lot of other strategies that are revolved around Legends abilities and how you team up and match up with the Legends themselves. But this is a little bit more advanced. It's a little bit more to the intermediate side. For now, you just have to pick each and every legend that you have available, test them out in the firing range, see what each weapon does, how you need to control each and every weapon. Here's a quick tip that it sounds difficult to do, but it's one of the most important things to remember when you're shooting in Apex Legends, because I think it's really specific to it. Usually you have to, spray control, which means you have to counter move your mouse to the pattern of the weapon. So let's see, I have to move the mouse down. But there's a cool little trick that you need to learn even from the early stages of Apex. When you move left and right, you mitigate a lot of that recoil that you have to control otherwise. It's much easier to control, you mitigate the horizontal movement that the recoil does. And you only have to think about and counter the vertical movement of the recoil. I think the most important part of Apex, the most important thing to learn, especially as a new player, is that you have to accept the fact that you're going to suck. If somebody calls you bad, this is where you should be, right? You're new to the game. And this shouldn't discourage you in any sort of way. The community, as every competitive game, it's a little bit on the toxic side, especially with new players. We veterans, or I don't know how to call us. This sounds a little bit cringe in my ears, but yeah, we are veterans. We have played this game for 2, 3, maybe even 6 years. And we're used to people knowing what to do, at least most of the times. And when we see a new player, we don't have the patience. We think it's a bot playing with it. Because, a newer player wouldn't know that you're faster when moving with the knife, and that when you crouch from time to time, when you slide from time to time, you are much faster. When you see somebody doing this is how you know they're a new player, running around with the gun without expecting a fight or anything. So what I'm saying is, this is absolutely okay. You shouldn't feel bad for being bad. And you shouldn't feel bad for dying. And you're going to die a lot in this game. You're going to have to accept the fact that it's natural in Apex Legends to die a lot and to wait a lot. This is one of the things that I think they should fix. How you're waiting, there should be minigames, modes that keep you engaged and keep you fired up. They have done a lot of improvements on that front. The firing range is the most chill mode that you can experience with, that you take the time to learn a specific character or specific weapons. The other 2 modes that are also casual, they're not the main mode, which is the Battle Royale mode, are these 2. Limited time modes, usually we get 2 of them or 3 of them per season. I'm not really sure how much, but yeah. These are modes that the developer experiments with, and I'm super glad that they have them. Right now it's arenas, you won't learn anything from arenas. If you're starting right now, don't play arenas. The mixtape is a combination of 3 modes: Team Deathmatch, Control, and Gun Run. They're all for you to practice fighting, to learn about the game, to learn about its mechanics and weapons. And I think it's the best place to get comfortable with a certain legend, because it could be really discouraging to go into the Battle Royale mode because it's the most fun mode and it's the main mode, but then you get crushed 10 times and you're waiting more than you're actually playing. I know how discouraging this could be, and it happens to veteran players, but we're just more accustomed to it. So don't let that discourage you, but also I advise you to try the mixtape modes. They're much more action, they're much more fighting, and they're faster. And if you want to try the Battle Royale mode in its most casual sense, in its most casual version, you can try the Battle Royale mode. It's super easy. It's too easy. I think they should add more difficulties and more teams, because in Battle Royale mode, I think you're fighting like 10 teams or something. It's not a full lobby. It's not 30 teams or 60 players, because in duos there are 30 teams and in trios there are 20 teams. But you get what I mean. After you've played a little bit, after you've gotten the hang of the game, you might be pushed or persuaded to play ranked leagues. And one thing that is really interesting about this game is that the more you play, the more you realize that this game has it backwards. The normal modes are much sweatier than the ranked league, and I don't know why, and it's been like this forever. I personally have a better experience playing ranked, a more casual experience playing ranked than playing normal. In normal, everybody is sweaty, everybody's trying their hardest to kill everybody. They don't care about surviving, so everybody's pushing you, and it's constantly dying to a third party, dying to a fourth party, being the third party, dying to a fourth party. It's really just, it's nerve-wracking. It's a great mode to practice fighting, I would give it that, but it's not a great place to practice strategic thinking, positioning, team combos, like which legends pair most, and so on. Now, I told you earlier that I'm going to teach you a little bit of, the basic fighting things that you need to know. And yes, we covered the counter recoil, moving left to right. We did that. Now, the next thing that I want you to do, and I want you to teach yourself to do, and always be mindful of it, and at first it's going to be hard for you to think about it, but I want you to always find and fight around cover. When you're executing a plan, let's say you want to go from high ground to low ground, always think of the way that has some objects to that path, right? And yeah, you might have old habits from CS where it's when the fight happens, it's an all-out brawl. There's no outplay. You just shoot him, he shoots you, and that's how it ends. The whole fight ends. Either you die or he dies. What I love about Apex, and it is the main thing for me that ruined every other FPS game. Not only the movement, not only the fun gunplay, not only the insane things that you can do with legends and their abilities, but primarily the outplay potential. A lot of these legends have abilities that help them stay alive longer, or chase you faster, or escape a fight. Basically, make the fight last a little bit longer or a little bit shorter for your enemies. For example, this legend right here, Ash, she's really cool. I like her. They gave her a dash ability, which, provides a lot of outplay potential. If somebody shoots you, you can escape. If you want to close the range quickly to somebody, you can easily do that. But for now, for this video, and I'm going to make a video about all the fighting techniques that I know. I'm not a professional player, by the way. I just really enjoy the game. I have played it a lot, and I have learned a thing or two. So if you have, better techniques or anything, just put them in the comments. Let new players know, help them out. But yeah, for now, I'm going to give you one tip that is super important and wins 80% of the fights, and that is to hit and run. This is super important in Apex. You always fight around covers because you can do hit, hide, hit, hide. I can't tell you how many times this has allowed me to outplay a player that has better aim, or has better movement, or has more HP than me, just because I can hide and he's out in the open. I can't stress this enough. This is the most important thing in Apex. When you're fighting, you need to fight around covers. You trade with the person. Let's say he hits me back, and I have the option to heal. While if he's out in the open, he's dead. He's lost the fight. And while you're doing that, it's not only benefiting you. When you hit somebody that is out in the open and you hide, maybe you start healing, you're either forcing him to run for cover, or you're forcing him to run to you. And in both cases, if you have teammates that know where the firing button is on the mouse, they should be able to catch him in the move and basically give you a free kill. So yes, just to summarize, Try all the legends that you have available to you, learn their abilities, try all the weapons in the firing range. There's a lot of weapons that will fit you, there's a lot of weapons that won't fit you in your playstyle. Get used to dying and waiting, especially if you want to play the Battle Royale mode primarily, and don't forget to hit and hide. Now these tips are super basic and I'm going to make a video that has more, intermediate tips and then more advanced tips. So subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time. See ya!